So what we're going to work on today is this chicken. Now, this chicken was painted without flowers in the beginning. And then the customer that wants this chicken decided that she would like some red flowers behind it. Something like roses, which actually is something that I thought about doing also. So I tried it and it didn't work. So today we're going to try to correct that. What I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to just put the green back. That's what I'm going to do first, is put the green back in it. And it was a darker green. So painting is a 5x5. And I'm going to mix up some color that I want to just bring back that bird. You know, and the thing is to do this slowly, actually, because I may find that I do like some of the color of the red flowers, just not as much of it as is there. So I'm actually going to go back into the background colors and just kind of reestablish a good range of dark again. I really think that you have to have the contrast, I guess you could say, in a, I'm painting in a painterly way. And what does that mean? It means that the brushwork is very obvious in my paintings. And I'm also using the negative areas to bring out the positive. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you looked and saw me put this little blob here, this is considered a negative space. This blade of grass or hay is considered the positive space. So I darkened right here, and it kind of brought out, just doing that brought out the blade of grass. So I didn't have to mix up a color for the blade of grass. Alright, so the problem that I see right here is these two things are identical. And they're very close in shape of the chicken's face. So it all looks the same, 1, 2, 3. So we got to do something about that. So I'm going to just go by what I see glaring at me, and this is it here. Just that little spot there. I know that if I cut this back, okay, that helps. I think it's time for me to mix up some more greens. So we got the dark part. Oh, actually I do see a little bit here that could use softening up. Just kind of, okay. I'm going to go into more greens at this point. So now I'm going to go into my Indian yellow, and I want it to be a bit on the, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to show you values here. As you can see right there, I have the dark value right here. I'm trying to mix up something that would contrast, and it's not off enough. There's not enough contrast. So that means I try to put more yellow into it, and it's still, although it's a different color, it's really not enough of a contrast. So now I will try my Hansa yellow. I don't want this to be too much of a bright yellow. I want it to be on the grayish side. So I believe I've got a fairly good color here. It's not, it's off by a couple of levels as far as it being dark. Let's see if we can get the chicken back in here now. Okay, I think I got something I can work with. So there, you can see that that is a contrasting green, and I am going to have to make sure that my brush is clean after every time I apply this color. Again, we're working on creating a grayed down lighter green. Okay, so I'm looking over this now and I don't like right here, so I'm going to add, and I actually want to add another blob kind of close to it, and maybe here. I got 3 spots in a row. That is a bad thing to do, so I have to figure out something here. I think maybe I'll bring that. Actually, I'm going to take my other brush, this one, and I'm going to go back into the darker color with it, and I'm going to just take that out. And I think I'm going to try taking this one out too. There. That looks better. Okay. Now, of course, the danger here again is having a dirty brush go into the color mixture that is on your palette. It's like the wrong thing to do. And if your colors are, there's not enough mixed up, and that's what I'm facing now. There's not enough of the color mixed up. You can stretch it by putting a different kind of medium. It's this solvent-free gel. This will help the color stay fat, and fat floats in oil painting. You go from thin to fat when you're painting in oil. Okay, so I have some of that gel now, and I'm going to see if I can use that to kind of just make this one color float a little bit better. Yeah, see, it did. It stayed on there. I'm going to go back into the lighter color. And now this brush has a mid-tone, and I can use one side of it to mix a lighter color of the same puddle of color. And that's what I'm going to do. And it's maybe just a little on the yellow side, but it's a cooler yellow, so it's going to be okay. Now we got to address the flowers, because I do think having the flowers in the painting is a good idea. Okay, so I'm going to try to scratch some of this out or soften it up. This is a good scratch out tool, and you know, it's basically any kind of tool that has a rubber tip. These tools are probably used more for ceramics than or sculpting than for painting, but once you start working with these, they're handy to have. So, okay, I'm going to just kind of lighten that, take that out. Okay, so you can probably see that I'm not really creating a developed rose. And there's a reason for that. And it is that these flowers are far behind as far as the viewer is concerned. They're supposed to be in the background. This one here looks a little close to the bird. These definitely look like they're behind the bird. This here kinda looks closer, but I'm going to be all right with that. What I may do is add some grayed down greens around it, lighter but grayed down, and see if that helps. That helps to set it backwards. And again, you got to be very, very careful. Okay, see, I don't like that. It's just such a dance here. You know, just one stroke can ruin a painting. But I do notice something that needs to be neatened up, and that is right here. Oop. I might have to paint that in. We're going to go lighter, but I want it to be a grayish tone, so I'm going to put some blue in with this greenish color that I have, and just grab a little of the red that I used, and I may have the color I need to clean up that neck. A little bit more blue into it, and this color here. Just want to kind of neaten that up.